And the storylines are amazing because everybody knows. I mean, and I would recommend to anybody that hasn't watched, the 30 for 30, Chuck and Tito, and to understand how the Ultimate Fighter did what it did for the UFC.
Right.
I mean, right now Formula One is benefiting from that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Immensely from Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
I heard that Netflix goes a special on surfing, golf.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, they're like doing individual in tennis, like individual sports.
Right.
It's like they found the formula. No, the formula was found. You remember when we saw these people, and even Dana has said, right? Yeah, it's gonna be a reality show, but this guy, we're gonna be fighting this guy as a reality show, which is pretty amazing. These are people. One of the greatest slogans we ever used was, "We're all fighters." It's amazing. It just like look at the origins and their origin stories. Like everybody's got like superhero villain.
Yeah, it's
and
so
then
true.
you watch a modern day warrior, Glover Teixeira, against the last boss you need to beat of the video game, which is Yuri Prochaska.
Yeah.
And then you see a guy, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, going and almost knocking him out. Tries to go for the YouTube. Things turn around, and the guy who's a strike goes out there and gets him in 28 seconds.
Yeah, with 28. Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, how did that happen? It was insane.
Shock and awe. So, with that being said, you first step on the scene in 2020, and I agree with you. It does feel like you've really only been with us for only a couple of months, to be quite honest with you. When you tell me it's been over 2 years since we've seen you, at event, I watch every single event, right? Like, I would not have been able to say over 2 years ago. I would have said 1 year and some change max. But fast forward 2 years, you literally just finished 12 weeks in a row, 12 assignments. That's utterly mind-blowing. Is this all still kind of a surreal experience to you? Does it ever get old? Or is it same day?
Never old. Always surreal. And again, one of the great things about, first of all, one of the fascinating things is there's no other sport that you are not going to see. Of course, you're going to see a running back running into a linebacker, and you're going to see a pitcher facing a pitcher, or the different body types facing each other in soccer. Point guard maybe dunking over a center. But do you ever see a guy, unless they're like running for show, like in some Pro Bowl weekend or something, or some charity event, when are you going to see two people that basically play a different sport facing each other to see which one is best at it? And they actually have a platform to do it. Nothing like it.
Right.
So
true.
I'm fascinated. First of all, the matchmakers, just making just
literally the best at what they do.
I don't know how scouting is an art for football, is an art for other sports, but this is insane because you're putting two people there.
Right.
And the fights that we've gotten because of the different styles are insane. So it never gets old because you're already seeing something like that. Look at these redemption stories. So I just recently watched, I wanted to actually kind of go through Fight Pass and walk through some Bisping fights to set up the documentary. So I finally got to see the documentary, which was amazing. I really wanted the time for it, and my mindset was in it. And it was also a pleasure to actually be able to tell him that I watched it.
Yeah, totally.
That was on my way to the octagon. Actually, it was so cool. Like we talked.
I watched the movie about you, by the way.
No, it was insane because it was cool. Because he is so natural in what he does in life outside of. He has been for quite some time. The documentary shows that. How he at one point he didn't know if he was going to fight against you. Just basically, you see this person reinventing himself, and the way he's so natural, he talks to you. All of a sudden, he's there. Tune in. So we're talking, and I went backstage and just to get some water, something, whatever. And there was his son and his father. So I got to see one of his sons, and I met his father because I wanted to tell this man, like, listen, your father sounds like Michael King. Your father sounds exactly like I was waiting for him to say Mr. Wayne. It was, And then it was so cool because they're such approachable people, and I made sure to tell them that. And his son even told me like this. It was such a well produced documentary. It wasn't it though. He said it was. As a fan, as someone who consumes content, you produce content, you consume content. I mean, even from your job, we're so interested in the message and how well some stuff is produced. It was fascinating. I thought it was a really, when we see production value in something, it's amazing. And I can't speak enough for the production value of the UFC. I mean, those from someone people say a simple fight night at the Apex or a blockbuster pay-per-view, it's insane. And when you said, well, coming to the scene, the reason why people recognize me is because then I was doing interviews, not specifically at the Octagon, but I was at that room doing one after the other on a Tuesday because I worked on Contender Series last year.
Right.
So that's when people started to show, and especially because I just look like a white boy, a gringo, and this is, believe like people, me speaking Portuguese is not a surprise to me. The interesting thing is that people heard me speak Spanish.
Yes, yeah.
So that was the thing that some people were like, what? So that's when I just, some people actually sent me messages like, oh, what? How you? So what do you do? And it was pretty hilarious. And plus, it's at that, I mean, I always felt welcome, but you really feel like you're on the groove because you're working there on a Tuesday night. Again, doesn't bother my job at all. I was working a lot of East Coast hours anyways. I was finished by like 2:30 something, and I'll get a workout in, take a shower, go to the Apex, and I'm on the show, which is amazing. And I had like, I think for the 10 episodes, I might have worked 7. So it was so cool.
Yeah.
And you really feel it is, if you go to the Apex outside of an event night or even a Contender Series, it's very intimate. And it's so cool to see Dan worked for the NFL Network, and I was like, dude, they're like royalty to me. Like,
yeah, for real.
And then Brandon Fitzgerald. I mean, look, that's our local guy. That's big. I mean, it's so cool. Like it was so cool to see him in Austin.
UFC Fight Night is presented by Motello. A mouth-watering look inside of Salt Lick Barbecue.
Hey,
here in Austin, Texas. DC's getting hungry now.
Stop. You're a vegan.
It's brisket in Texas.
Stop. You're a vegetarian.
Stop putting labels on me.
Stop talking about barbecue.
Stop putting labels on me.
You can never do it justice. Shut your mouth. You dirty little vegetarian mouth.
You
talking about mouth-watering Texas barbecue.
That's a good point.
Don't you dare.
You're actually right about that.
Ridiculous.
What are you doing, Fitz? You should be disgusted with yourself.
Came on in 2019, so I had plenty of barbecue experience. Let's continue.
Yeah. Because people were like actually approaching him like, oh, you're on the road. Because he did so many of the events at the Apex. And
I've never made that connection that he really only did primarily Apex events and like not so much like traveling domestically. That's really, he's so good. I mean, like,
yes.
Both him and
when he went to Austin, it was cool because you could see the camaraderie of everybody. Like people are like, hey, you're on the road.
Nice.
So cool. And very humble too. Like everybody's very approachable, right? And then we got to see like Laura do everything.
Amazing. She's
everything.
Former fighter and doing what she's doing now. It's amazing.
And I mean, at that, she was commenting upstairs, coming down, doing the Octagon interview, and then actually at that point, doing the results.
Yeah.
Actually, after a while, they actually said, "Listen, it's going to be a lot." So she did the back as well in the interview. So I saw that, and it's so cool to see these consummate professionals work every week. It's insane. As I told you, like. Megan is there from the wee hours of the morning, just going through stuff and rehearsing.
Right. I think that the only job where you see people take their role more seriously than the UFC team is cast members at Disneyland. So it is funny how you have been in both worlds, because I've known people who have been cast members at Disneyland, and they definitely take that role extremely seriously. And I say it in a good way for the most part.
No, it was I was there for the golden years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I worked. I'm not gonna.
A part of its prime.
It was. I mean, it was good because of many other reasons. I was again always with the translations. I worked for. I mean, my home was the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I ended up working for Magic Kingdom Guest Relations, and there was a lot of events. And this was a time that, I mean, right now the Brazilian real is about 550 to the dollar. It was 1-to-1 almost. But I got to see 3 years in which Brazilians would rule the park. So those tour groups that come in, they needed to be. So again, we're process oriented, right? So you try to improve things. All you're trying to do is bring a different perspective to things.
Right.
And this is where and I'm like, okay, so this is how we need to organize. Why don't we get the groups on the side of the Magic Kingdom, talk to them? And I can't believe that I'm saying this, but I know, all right, I'm gonna age myself here. So I'm really dating. It's 20 years ago. Here I am telling like the 15 to 18-year-old, mostly Brazilian girls, saying, listen, this is not home. This is not you at the beach. You go get a juice, get some water, get whatever, get a lemonade, get whatever you want. No, you're walking the park all day long. You're coming from attraction to attraction. You're not eating, regardless of how much crap you're eating, because you're just here in America for like 2 weeks and you're on vacation. It doesn't matter. Hydrate. All right. So I went to the spiel before they came. So I started to get on this, try to organize group. That's what I did. And it was at I was very proud of being a cast member, because a lot of the great things that happened in my life went back to Disney. Like the connection went back to Disney, the person that knew me, whatever experience it was. And again, it's just about, just like I was fortunate to have this opportunity. I was fortunate to work there when I got to do different things, that then afterwards it was more of a process, more of a competition to do it.
Yeah,
like
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like I got to shadow people doing traditions, which I love facilitating. And again, I mean, it's like first day in college, right? When you go, when I was a student at Penn State, I got there to one of what was back then a top 10 campus as far as size is concerned. Others have outgrown, but there was foreign orientation week from the Office of International Students. Again, about feeling welcome, about feeling at ease, about people understanding that you might not be comfortable, and that we have a learning curve, and each person has their own time, especially when you come from a foreign land. They had foreign orientation week, and it was 2 weeks. Walking around that campus and actually getting to feel the campus 2 weeks before, half the parents in Pennsylvania come bring their kids to the school, and there's about to have a game with 100, back then 100,000 people at the stadium, now like 110. So it's insane, because the first thing I did after the first week was talk to the Office of National Students and say, can I do this next year for the incoming class?
Right.
And so I got to do it for 3 years. When I went to Disney and worked for that, I come a little early. And when I worked for Disney, I went up to the Office of Recruiting after like a couple of weeks at Disney. And I said, is there a way? I remembered my recruiter. I remember the person that brought me aboard. I remember how she approached me because of the language. She saw my name on a name tag in a hotel that I worked at Penn State, and she asked, because of my name, what was my origin, if I spoke language. She said, hey, when I need you, do you want to work for Disney World? So come to the presentation tonight. I was like, oh, it's like that.
Yeah.
They were actually getting people that they had just started a process for campus reps. So I was a campus rep for 3 years there. So you always try to give back somehow, some way.
Right.
Somehow, some way. If there are people that come in to translate for other languages, and sometimes they're, really well versed. You talk about some of the translators that we have, just amazing. You look at, obviously Alex, but then you got Syed, right?
Right.
You're getting the other side of the world covered by a guy who speaks Russian Mandarin. So that's so cool that we're getting all these guys. Think of the shotgun fights.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah.
I mean, I told them there's a concept now, man. Like people in America are talking about Shotgun Fight Week. He goes, it's about time. It's like, yeah, because I mean, these guys are coming, and obviously, Fiziev was there speaking as well,
Right, right.
calling out Rafael Nadal.
Yeah, we talked
he's
about it on stream. He really has like the most bizarre set of callouts.
Hasbulla! Hasbulla! You think I will work what I do all my life in the UFC? If you want money fight, you fight with me, bro! Rafael Nadal, come here. Yeah. His name Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn, you want to fight Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, I love him.
He really has like the most bizarre set of callouts in history at this point. He's called out Hasbulla, which is a joke because who's gonna beat Hasbulla?
Listen, we can beat Hasbulla.
Yeah, that's like why.
That's one thing I wanted to. Of course, he got to go to Abu Dhabi. But I would die to see this guy here in Las Vegas. I would shadow their film because first of all, he needs to be filmed in 8K, 24/7. I just want like him in every single Vegas adjacent activity. I mean, from the canyon to like the selfie museum, I don't care. Like, take this. He deserves everything. Vegas is his for the week.
Yeah, international superstar. Even John Anik said it himself. Hasbulla is one of 2 people in the entire world that Anik has ever asked to take a picture with.
So, speaking to the point of Anik, that was the first person that I was in awe with.
Huh. Yeah.
I was in awe.
Yeah.
Again, from being a guy who's in football and just watching, consuming content for so many years and learning a language from a sport. I've gone through every NFL broadcasting crew. I remember college football broadcasts from ESPN in the 90s. Like, I remember people that are gone now or haven't been around the game for years. But the command, because it was the first, it was my first time. It was an Anik fight. Just, the way that he commands the broadcast, like just the way it goes from the excitement, the information to the jokes.
Both of these fighters have dealt with custody battles involving their children.
It's quite an amazing thing to hear those guys. So just I was very happy. I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. It was amazing. When I got a chance to actually tell him that, he's very humble, very coachable, always a smile on his face. Too. He's got like $1 million smile. That's what happens when you live in Florida, right? Like,
yeah.
It's just so cool.
You know what? Always has a smile on his face from being so happy, but always has bags under the eyes for working so hard with the UFC.
One more sleep.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and he's got that red eye. He takes the red eye back to Florida. I mean, just it's
crazy.
And now we have embedded, and you have like you see, you have the content, so you know the work that Megan, that Laura, that Honey puts in, and now Charlie. Like, you see the work that Brett, like the production piece, right? Where the storylines come out. They just cover so much ground. They're like they got the preparedness is there. Like some of the stuff, it's so fascinating to see come full circle. Like a small answer that comes in one of those production meetings on Wednesday gets worked up a little bit. Some tweets come out, some things up, and all of a sudden there's the weight, and then boom, Saturday comes, and that one thing makes a difference in the production. And they remember that one thing that was said. So just and it speaks volumes for the production value of it.
Yeah.
And how cool it is to see. It's a show.
Oh man, people are always a little bit mind blown when I tell them, like, I've been watching the sport for so long. I post a video on this channel every single day of my life about mixed martial arts, but I've never been to a UFC event, let alone a live MMA event, and people are always a little bit mind blown about it. Like, did you yourself ever attend a mixed martial arts event before your first UFC event?
Small ones, small in Brazil. I was never in a situation in which I could attend because I was not in the city that happened. Like, for example, when they happened, like they've been to Orlando, of course, they've been to Florida. So whenever some event was in a city, like I was actually adjacent to it. Like I love to be in places where people are just going off about it, like going to the bar where everybody is. And I had a really good friend that actually got his black belt from RDA. Like,
Oh, snap.
like really good friend.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's cool because I used to live downtown Orlando, so just walk a couple blocks. And a friend of mine worked at the bar, and he's like, "Dude, if you want to shoot the," I'm gonna clean up all the language I'm not saying. I managed to not swear, man. So he said, "Listen, if you're just gonna BS for a couple hours, why don't you come down to the bar?" And the fights were happening, so we got to see together. I just thought it was pretty cool because I'm talking about a guy here who's a jiu-jitsu. When you're a BJJ black belt, it's so valuable. Like the experience that I have now by watching with Dean Thomas, like he is next to me. It is fascinating.
Right, I bet.
Because the notes that he's taking, and much like for Contender, they had the betting side.
Right.
So the Night of the Greek was there. Right in front of me, and I saw the notes. Don't forget, I mean, the notes of a Vegas sharp. Listen, they've been doing this. You have to understand. I mean, everybody that just bets it, like you don't understand. He is like, you're like we like to say in Brazil, like you are just figuring out where you're gonna put the crops for the corn. This man is already coming back with gourmet popcorn and many different things. I mean, he's so ahead of your game. It's just insane. Like he is. And you see it, and it's fascinating because some of the most organized people I've seen, they take notes. They take, as in like, they get a pen by the color coordination. They have like multicolor. It's just so nice and neat. Like, you see the notes. Even some of the people that are working with betting now, and in different spectrums, you see like I don't know, like who do I remember, like Liv Moods that working with Colin Cowherd.
Right.
And the volume. I remember her showing the notes, and I think it's fascinating that someone's looking at. They have notes, man. They study. It's. This is not just like, yeah. I think tonight I should bet. I think we should bet the Brewers to go extra innings. It's like, no. There's a science to this thing. So I just think it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
That. I mean, it's the work that they put in as far as events are concerned. Being with people that know something, sometimes in my situation was like, okay, I really want to watch with these friends. I watched some other promotions because Brazil had a lot of them. So I watched some other promotions, and I considered coming here to watch it. But then with a bunch of people, it was because of the environment. It was better for us to actually watch it at a certain location. And I wanted to make sure it was a special fight. The problem is the special fights were never in the place that I was. So I'd have to figure out the travel. It was real. And then imagine, the first event I had at T-Mobile was the one that I posted on my Instagram stories about when I met Charles. And not only was just special because it was the first time. So I'm doing something live. First time I worked directly with Megan. Which was so cool because it's, again, I had barely spoken to her. And this is like, they put me on my ear and said, listen, Charles is inside of the octagon. Once this fight is over, they explain to me, they go through the storyline. Like obviously know they're going to, that's probably where the opponent is coming from. So by the time that we're gonna come in, the producer's gonna come into the other side, so Mike's gonna get you right there, and you're gonna interview Charles. I'm like, oh, I'm going to meet Charles. Wow. So he's in the other side of the octagon. I had seen obviously the video. He's like, "Oh, cool, we got it." Right. I love something that Annex says during the broadcast when one of the athletes, obviously, in white, the other one in the color, whatever, black, but the black and gold, and he says one of the classiest things, befitting a champ.
Right.
The southpaw is in red. Charles Oliveira in the black and gold, befitting a champion.
Yep.
I'm fascinated by linguistics. I just think it's such a cool thing to say. And that's how I think of Charles that day. He's like, yeah, he's cool, befitting a champion.
Oh my gosh,
And we
yeah.
get there, and Megan is so cool about it. She even repeated the question because I mean, I don't have the thing, man. Charles is listening to me. I'm listening to Megan.
Right.
And McGregor is coming out behind us on a stretcher.
Oh my.
And can you imagine? Well, first of all, he doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
And then everyone loves the guy or hates the guy or whatever, so it's so loud.
Into a second round, what do you think would have happened?
E se continuasse isso pro segundo round, o que você acha que poderia ter acontecido?
Isso é MMA, né? É tudo imprevisível, a gente não sabe o que vai acontecer.
This is MMA. It's unpredictable. We never know what's going to happen.
In terms of the winner of this fight, it is Dustin Poirier.
I at one point I'm like, I just wanted to make sure that what I was about to say. Hold up a second. I went back to me like, can you please repeat what you just said? Just make sure that I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
In my first interview and the Octagon, the one that you see with Figueiredo, again a class act. I mean, he lost, and then one night,
right?
He says tonight was the night. You know, I lucked out on that one. Sometimes they quote some fancy thing. It might be scripture, it might be some a saying, a proverb, and you want to, you need to pull it from your head, right? So he said something in Portuguese that basically means love thy neighbor. And I just thought, yeah, there you go. It occurred to me to say love thy neighbor. So this is good. Yeah, good. I'm doing the good translation. But he called out Moreno to face him again. Problem. 20,000 screaming fans, a lot of noise. When he said that, you don't see it. I don't have anything here. Figueiredo is saying whatever he wants to say because the fighters deserve the entire platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just say it. It's my job to translate. And Rogan asked the question.
See you inside the octagon again. I know you will be back and better than ever.
Mal podemos esperar para ver você de novo aqui. Você vai voltar, né?
Dana, me deixe treinar. Mais 4 meses aí, me coloca na revanche com o Breno Moreno. Por favor, Breno Moreno. Por favor.
Breno Moreno. Por favor.
Hey, Dana, 4 months more and I'm ready to fight.
Thank you, sir. Davison Figueiredo, ladies and gentlemen.
When he put the microphone, he was already going towards me. I was reading lips. That's what I was doing. The problem is the microphone got it right into Figueiredo's face. I kid you not. I did not omit anything. I didn't see him opening his mouth and saying the call out for December. Like it was right here. Like the microphone just got like right.
Right, and
there.
it like
I was paying attention, and all of a sudden he says, and Figueiredo does say things very with a closed mouth. It's kind of like it's very humble, very cool, right?
Right.
And he says that, and I hope to see him in December again. I'm sure we're gonna fight. He says it in a very quick Portuguese sentence. Of course, I missed that out. Of course. Yeah. Of course, the Twitter goes crazy. YouTube commenters and stuff. And it's
How can you miss that? Outrageous.
Oh no, I managed to miss. I mean, for all the praise I get, and I do appreciate from everyone that has ever said something positive about it. It means the world to me that you're welcoming me into your world and giving me the opportunity to do that and give them a voice to, I don't know, a means to a message and conveying their emotions. I did not intentionally omit anything, nothing at all. I missed when Charles won last time, and you went like this and said, "There's something wrong here. There's something missing."
Tem alguma coisa de errado aqui. O campeão se chama Charles Oliveira. Eu bati o meu peso na quinta-feira e vocês tiraram meu cinturão.
Listen, people ask me, how do you remember all these things? Corporate world, we work in bullet points. I'm listening to this thing. So I thought it was so cool that your video makes me download information. I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting stuff in bullet points. When certain words are important, I need to make sure that I translate those words because it means something. Why they said that. Like sometimes they call out names of people in the back. They turn around like, this is for this and that. I swear I try to remember all that because that's important. It's not like they're going off and trying to talk to 1,000 people. Like they're, I mean, sometimes they're actually, you know, it's a shout out. The end of the stuff is like a shout out. But when they're there and there's going to be another question, they point out to a coach, a trainer, a sports psychologist, you know, a partner.
Yeah.
That's there to, you know, a family member. That's
Yeah, just
there.
like a homie, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And if they're there, and I try to get the names. Sometimes they're nicknames. I'm trying to translate them. But the Charles thing, I did not. I really like. I had the bullet points downloaded, and I mean, Charles was kind of moving already, and I was like, when I was about to say it, I just hesitated. When I was hesitating, and then obviously, I hesitated, and that time did. And then he calls out McGregor, and leaves. So I am yelling at the camera. Hello.
That's badass though. You're literally, it's just like, okay, I have seen some of the most commented comments on that video are about how badass it is that it's literally you keeping that same energy as you yourself are calling out Conor McGregor. I have something written down over here. What's more fun? What was more fun to you, calling out Conor McGregor or watching Glover versus Yuri Prochazka live?
There was a cool moment because I got to in Charles' last fight. It was such an emotional moment, and a lot went into that day. That day was, I mean, it was long for me as well. Pleasure to do this. It was so cool. I mean, the entire arc of the situation was because when I got, by the way, when that weight situation happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I work for a travel company called Rate Games that we provide all kinds of solutions in that power travel technology. So huge event here. We had the Expedia conference here in Las Vegas, huge event for the first time in years. Well, there was the party the night before. I mean, the dinner party, whatever. And following morning, got to be at the airport because I did my thing here, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go over there. The flight gets delayed. And I'm watching. I'm kind of on Twitter because I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to actually turn this on and watch I love the way it shows. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
So,
same here.
And it's like another thing, right? Another.
Yeah, exactly. You get DC Laura Sanko just hanging out.
Know,
like what?
And
it's free? Are you kidding me?
I know. It's like, and when the mechanic bull's already badass, but when she's on the boot and like drinking, everybody's like, you guys.
She's so cool. Yeah.
She is, and then
she's the BMF.
it's real. I mean, it's amazing and just it's a fun show, but I couldn't watch it that day, right? So I'm on Twitter. I'm like, okay, hold up a second, and the flight's kind of delayed. I'm like, okay, hold up a second, 5 minutes? What? 45 minutes?
No.
I'm like, I'm sitting. I'm about to like, do I get internet? What's gonna? I mean, it doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi on the plane. I was like, okay. The situation comes out 2 seconds before. I mean, we're already, I don't know, obviously the FAA is not going to like this, but I still had my 5G on.
Yeah.
As we were texting, like, oh, and he doesn't, I mean, the weight situation happens. I know I'm going to have to work on some funky interviews when I come
right,
in. When
totally.
I convince people, I look at me and ask me, like, dude, oh, you're going to be busy. And not only that night, I mean, it was an amazing interview that Megan had with him, and which was just really opened up about his work, his work ethic, his family, all the things. And then the following day, we worked so hard. There was so much stuff going on that I follow him and I do interview for this, for channel. So just work with everybody, and then they say, well, his boss is calling him. Like, oh yeah, you're gone. So it's me, Charles, just basically just wearing his shorts. We're walking. Everybody wants to take a picture with Charles.
Who wouldn't?
And I'm just exactly, but I'm like, listen, they're calling, and people are calling him up, and kind of leading the way, and just me, not even like the man, just like Diego's not like it's supposed to be a.
That is crazy.
I go, and we go through the bowels of footprints and are in Phoenix, and all these people are like going through like they're still like post party catering and stuff like they're still going up to a buffet.
Interesting.
I remember there's like this girl was like, I don't know, 12, 13. She's like in awe. She's like, it looked like a scene from Stranger Things. She looked like one of the kids. Like behind her in the buffet. It's like, I'm sorry, honey. Like, I keep going, and like, boom. And there's Dana. There's hundreds of everybody in. Like, I just got, there was a little chat between Dana and Charles. I was just, congratulating him and everything else, and it's so cool. And Charles is very emotional, so he actually at one point he puts his finger like very emotional, like to thank Dana. Like, I mean, a lot of people have a lot of love for these fighters. They have seen them up, and like some people that are there have said and had said for years that Charles was going to be this. So it was so cool to be there, because they came to me, it's like, you remember when I said this? And they did, and Charles remembered. And then when he's with Dana, he actually does this. Like, just in the emotional things, he talks to him and puts the finger to Dana's chest, like, I knew I was going to do something like this. And Dana just very, obviously, very, just complimenting him all along. But hey, I'm supposed to match the emotion, right? When I translate.
Yeah.
I put my finger into
you touch it.
I was like right there. And he goes, and I was like, I think it was like a couple of, but I just went to the same thing. I was like, and the cool part is like, I don't remember if Dana remembers this, but I was like, I guess it seemed natural. Yeah, natural emotion. That's what the producers already said. But I just thought it was surreal, because when I felt that I was doing it, when you feel like you're like, I don't know, Brazil, you're a kid and you just kick a soccer ball and it's going to go over the hill. You're not going to get it. You throw a baseball and it's going to break somebody's the window. A quarterback throws a pick and it comes out of your, like, I was like, did I just do that? But that was a surreal moment.
You know what? Dana more than anyone can appreciate someone being dedicated to their job. That's like, Jared Leto method acting. You just
and fun fact, like he was throughout a stretch of time when he's in Vegas, Jared is there.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, he's there at the Apex, and it's just
he's a huge UFC fan. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So imagine this. Look at how surreal the scene is. We're at the Apex, this place that I saw, deafening silence before, the place that I saw grow like a baby.
Right.
And then you see Dana sitting with Jared Leto.
Oh my gosh.
Sitting next to him, just talking method, whatever. Sitting with Khabib.
Oh my gosh,
it was surreal.
Yeah.
Also, Khabib has a presence that's I just think it's just one of the. I mean, we talk about somebody who commands respect.
Yeah.
Seems like he's cool. He's got these jokes. He's got this smile on the side of him. He always looks like he's like, I don't know, just it's a guy. It's got a vibe. He's a vibe.
Yeah, he's a vibe for sure.
It was other fights are happening. Obviously, the main card comes in, and then like 4 of his guys, him and 3 other guys, like wearing white t-shirts or something like that, just kind of cool, and they come in like from the back. I'm like, holy shit! It just looks like they look badass. Just like, but you see some people kind of on a regular basis, besides the Brazilian fighters that I've grown to know. Some people have a smile on their face that it's insane. Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
It's I've always throughout the process.
Right.
I mean, the Brazilians, Jessica, always with a smile. Just in some of the most surreal experiences I've had recently. Talking about watching with other people, we're talking about going to an event, watching with people and being there, and a guy who's being a fan. I watched 276 next to Anthony Smith.
Wow.
So he was seriously, he was there.
Yeah.
Sitting between us. And I try to like, listen, dude, like there's no more translations tonight. It's just me doing this. This is let me wipe out the headphone for you. Come in the middle between us, and he's watching. He's as intense watching it as he's intense fighting.
Oh man.
They're grabbing me. Like,
I see.
And then there's the mix between I don't know Clark Kent and Superman, Alan Jaban.
Right.
Insane. He comes down sometimes at the Apex and he watches the fights. Dude is off. Like he is having so much fun. Like it's so cool to see them.
Yeah.
They get so caught up.
So on the topic of Alan Joban, Alan was my Muay Thai coach when I lived in LA. For about a year and a half. I used to work in Burbank, and he trained in 10th. He was the Muay Thai coach at 10th Planet Burbank, at least till I was there. And I still think he's doing that training. I still think he's the coach there.
So it's interesting because again, like I've been through this, and who am I? A guy who gets called upon, and then I'm there when I can, and to see like Brandon going to Austin, right?
Yeah.
You strike up a conversation with these guys when they're there, so it's so cool to be able to and there's coffee at the Apex, so you like when you're grabbing coffee, all these guys are coming. I mean, the refs are always there. So they're the coolest people. It's great to talk to them. I mean, they've seen some things.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
That is so true.
Every single one of them. I mean, Tonyoni's always like singing, and it's I heard Dean's. I'm talking to him. It's like it's just great. So Joban is there, and that a while ago, and I was like, oh, so it was a great week of fights or something. And I said, hey, do you go on the road? And I asked him, and he was so excited because he went to Columbus. So I think that was the first car that he went.
That makes sense.
On the road, so I was like, oh, it's gonna be completely. I asked him afterwards, and he started to come down a bit when they have a break, and Karen Bryan they have a break, so he comes in and actually, when there's space, I make space for him. Sit down, so it's awesome.
Right.
It's just so cool because they're there watching it, and it's great because they're seeing their own craft as fans, right?
Yeah.
And they bring in I ask questions all the time because they have they're a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, they know things. Right? Yeah. It's just great. That's a fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Say that's one of the fun parts as well.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure literally an endless amount of fun stuff when it comes to the UFC. The thing is though, I think that you probably have one of the coolest jobs in the entire world, along with, John Anik, right? Like the professional commentators that get to, shoot the shit with the boys, right? For the weekend and just talk about fights. But I have had to translate a fair deal back in my day for my mom and dad. They don't speak the best of English, and I know how hard it is, kind of, to translate on the spot in a very casual setting. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, like especially when fighters are not addressing necessarily the entire crowd, but it's like, oh hey, like this person here, this person here, this person here. Are there any other difficult like aspects of translating for people that, or just representing non-English speakers for an American audience that we might not know of, or we might not be aware of as viewers at home?
Specifically to these two, the continent and the pseudo-continent that I represent as far as languages are concerned. Mostly, of course, there are, haven't had to translate specifically for a Portuguese fighter, but I have for Spanish. For a Spaniard, but mostly it's Latinos to a certain extent, so Latin Americans, Brazil being a pseudo-continent.
I see.
250 million people, and then the rest, like all of Latin America, from Mexico all the way down to the bottom of Argentina. You have so many different cultures and so many different accents and so many different slang terms that can come up. The emotion, because they are who they want to be and who they need to be and who they deserve to be there, which is themselves. You have just beaten the crap out of somebody. You just choked the hell out of someone. You went through a loss. You went through a whirlwind of emotions because you maybe lost the first round. If it's in a first round fight, you might have lost the first two and it turn things around. So whatever happened there, you see the emotion in these fighters. Sometimes they get interviewed by people that they admire as well. I mean, contenders, like the first time they're there.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone has a story, right? You talk about the origin story, right? So it's the fact that I hope I'm doing my best in actually conveying the thing that they want to convey, whether it's being grateful to a god, whether it's being very happy to be there, whether it's to thank a family member or coach for their mother figure, whatever it is. You just make sure the one thing you don't want to do is screw up.
Yeah.
No one gets up in the morning and gets off their bed wanting to make mistakes. So I kindly apologize to all MMA fans. For the people on Twitter, my first fight, I made the mistake. So on Sunday, usually like during football, I'm West Coast, right? So games start at 10. I wake up at like 7, go to the gym, get ready, boom. All right. So I made the mistake of going on Twitter and looking at something. Just to see if someone said something.
It never ends in a good. It never ends good.
It didn't. It was not a good beginning. Let's say it was my first, second assignment. And I remember took screenshots of people saying that, this guy should be out of there. He screwed up. He missed this one thing.
Yeah.
And at one point you say, well, I'm sorry. I wish I could say I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. And when you get to go to these in a 12-week stretch and you're reliable and people like what you do, hey, look at me now, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be like petty. Like what I'm saying, it's just like I was like, it's so cool that I got to, I mean, I think I made up for that. So it's just to be able to it's a show, and just to be in the same level of professionalism as people that are there. When, as I told you, like I've seen the work that Megan puts in to actually put in on an interview and the stuff that goes into actually building up the storylines. She's sharp.
Oh yeah.
Contender series, Laura, sharp.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The first time I had to actually do something on camera, luckily because of Disney, I still had an ESPN.
Nice.
Just because I always went with it. I was like, okay, just in case something happens, I have something that says ESPN right here. No one's gonna complain. They tell me that after the first, after the first Figueira of the Moreno, right? Oh, actually, not after Moreno wins, Figgy wins, and the call out happens.
Right.
For that fight, I didn't translate that fight. Figueira de Moreno won was a barn burner. It was the call out for that fight. I did. That was, I want to say, that was back in October. I mean, there was a quick turnaround for both of those.
Yeah, definitely.
For the first fight, right? Quick, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
I'm there, and they tell me, and there was Heidi Andro that was covering that day. So I got to go through the entire scope with these women. Just like I'm amazing, that just are sharp. So I go to the back when actually they had a studio there. That's now it's a complete studio, but they actually just had some chairs and stuff. And they did it. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna sit here in this director's chair. Figgy's gonna sit in the middle, and Heidi's asking these questions. Smile on her face, just when you're a pro, like the interview just flows.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and I just talking to myself, like, please don't screw it up. Please, you were just. I mean, even like your hair is not like, what the hell you thought you were going to say, Remo? It's like, where am I going? Do I look? I'm like, it's weird. Like, people are going to see this. So I'm like right there and talking, and you don't want to screw up. That's the one thing. The first thing that doing the first step towards doing something good is not doing something bad.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally.
And not making mistakes. I mean, if you have turnovers, you're gonna lose the game. So that's the one thing. And be mindful to get the context of things, because there are words, there are names, there are things that they say that you want to make sure that you're trying to do.
Right.
It's amazing. It's just, I mean, they have, it could be funny, it could be emotional. We have all kinds of stories. Guy, gets the car gets rear-ended one day. The second day they steal the car.
Yeah.
The third day, a guy allegedly someone from the opposing team was spying his workout. And the guy just reveals that on the interview. I mean, one of them said that that he lost his uncle before, and you just have these different stories. And it was very humbling to actually watch Contender, to be for Contender there, because it's their first. Plus, talk about nerve-wracking. You think those decisions at the octagon are tough. Imagine when they're sitting there, and Dana's announcing, and they're sitting, all 5 of them, right? Like right there, 5, 6, remembering how many were in the fight, and they're just sitting there and waiting. And what if one of them gets the contract, the other one gets the contract? It's like, this ain't Oprah, man. No,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like a boom, and then some people win and don't get it.
I was just talking about this on stream today. Yeah, it's so, you really have to fight your way in, and then once you get in, that's when the real fight begins.
And it's a build of I know that people say, oh, there are no more wins or something, where there's no, we can build on this, but yet you can, because sometimes, again, is the matchmaking. Sometimes these 2 fighters just went at it, and you see the effort. You see the effort. But it's an amazing experience too, and just it's a pleasure to be able to get involved with these people.
What is your opinion on Bayo Corralio? He's doing so well right now. He just fought this past week. Caio Borralho. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
They just won a beast.
Yeah, such a beast. So good.
Beast. Plus, Jefferson, his storyline. I mean, guy, good at math, good at chemistry. Like, he's science degree, something like he teaches. And he puts the glasses on. It's like, yeah, let me be Clark Kent for a second. And I was there for Contender, so I was there for the other fights, and I was there again. And I know sometimes I go up, and when they go by, and I'm right there, and sometimes they recognize. Like I wanted to say good fight to him, so he goes, hey man, bro, what's going on, brother? So, I mean, the hands, man. I do not want to see those gloves getting anywhere near me. It's just,
I don't blame you.
He is a beast. It's just a beast. Some people are just built different.
Yeah.
Right? Just some people just scare me. They're just some people that I like. I think that if they go for it, they could do like a 2-on-1 kind of thing, and they could beat 2 people up. It's like one of those kung fu movies.
It's true, especially in the case of Borralho. He could, physically beat most people in the entire world, but then he can also manufacture a makeshift bomb with his knowledge of chemistry, right?
It's insane.
So he can beat you up on several different levels.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that you get. It's funny because I imagine the stuff that is this occurred to me when I was a Contender. The videos that Laura had to watch because she was commenting on all these fighters.
Right, yeah.
I mean, she probably saw some stuff that was like, okay, this is borderline VHS. She saw some fights that were like, what the heck? She's talking about these fights. And it's so interesting because I follow a lot of MMA Twitter, try to follow different promotions. And you see these fights from these other different places or different, some guys even kickboxing, some others are doing something else, grappling. Man, you have some finishes on the way to the UFC. So you're very excited to see them coming in, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Exactly. Even with the young guys, you have Ilia Topuria, those young guys in the UFC, but then you just have people have been talking. Do you know who Zabit is? Zabit Magomed Sharipov?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the featherweight guy. Apparently he has like this younger brother who's like not even of age yet, and people say he's just a destroyer of worlds. Like,
it's and then there's like a Yasmin, like a Mexican fighter that's coming up too. Like then they show the last finish. She finished off a French girl. Like, what?
Yeah.
And obviously it doesn't tell the whole story because this is a particular different set of rules. Different. I mean, you're watching. Like, if you really want to get scared in life, so the first time I guys will go, this is gonna be bad. Like I saw. Have you ever seen like Seo Gan's Muay Thai highlights?
Yeah, I have, but if you're asking for like a particular fight,
no,
okay.
Just like some highlights.
Yeah,
when you see that leg come in for a kick, I'm like, you're a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, he really is, and he only started training in his mid-20s, right? And so it's less than 10 years.
That's also insane.
Yeah,
I mean, I was there again. What a great fight, Sarukian and Gamrot, right?
Right.
I mean, Gamrot did what he needed to do to win, but then, I mean, it was obviously a very contested result. I was there hearing the kicks from Sarukian. Like, I do not want to be in the end of any of those kicks.
Right.
Like, you can't translate that. Let's just say.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You can't, and it was again such a different vibe, because then a bunch of Poles on one side, all the Armenians on the other side. He comes out with this Armenian song from the new Armenians, like I mean, all right, I'm in Europe. This is basketball. It's going down, and then it was just it was a great fight. It was a great fight.
The wrestler came out with such great kicks, and then the person who we were convinced was going to be the inferior wrestler was the better wrestler.
I mean, and that's the whole thing of the beauty of MMA. Actually, we had Natalia, the Brazilian girl, that won on it was pretty dominant in Austin.
Right, I remember who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, very fun fact as well. I during the week I did a translation for her and her team, and I ended up meeting via FaceTime. I met the coach, and I'm sitting again next to the octagon, right? Like right there with Dean Thomas, and to my side it was Blue Corner. So the coach is there. So when he comes and sits down, I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Just very. He looked at me like, I don't do anything of the sort. I don't go up to people.
Right. Sure.
Off time, maybe say. I mean, I
speak when you're spoken to.
Never taken a selfie with anybody. Just this. Coincidentally, someone actually posted a picture. Actually, one of the guys from Figueiredo's team actually posted a picture of us, and it meant a lot to me because the first time I was there, I saw an entire fight being coached. Like she first of all, she's such a coachable person. She comes in from a social program that teaches MMA in Brazil, just in and of itself.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
She comes from a city called Pingo d'Água, which means drop of water. Insane. 99.9% of Brazil doesn't know where that is, but it's amazing.
Oh.
Girl of faith. Like, she's got, like, so many things that she's happy for, being grateful. That's what I want.
Sure.
And her coach, I'm here. I'm watching a perfect fight. I mean, everything that happened was coached. Everything that was about to happen, her coach said, now it's time for you to do this. Now it's time for you to do this. She gets pressed against cage. He goes, now you're going to do this. Now you're going to start up calmly. He goes, and now start opening up the hand and start slapping her in her face. Start annoying her. All right, go. And now, okay, on 3, 2, 1, you're going to push out. You're going to pummel a little bit. And I saw the entire thing. The kicks, because she was known for arm bars. But so the interview got cut off. I have the pleasure of saying I got taken down by Daniel Cormier.
So, I've always been a striker. Guys, we don't have time for the translation. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Natalia Silva.
We're sorry for Natalia Silva. We got to get to the main card. It starts right now.
Yeah, I remember exactly what you're talking about. We don't have time for the interview.
I mean, it was not. I mean, they come in knowing at the time they're aware. I promise she had this full speech prepared in English. But then Daniel gets into technical stuff, asks the question.
Yeah.
She answers. We're out of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was change of cards. We're going to the main card and broadcast. What can you say? It is a TV show, and I got lucky to translate to her in the back. So for the press, which, by the way, they're amazing people. Everybody that works, I got to meet them throughout these press conferences. So all the people that you see producing MMA content and being there and actually interviewing with me, it's just amazing to see them. Like they're great, and they're a camaraderie for the fun people. They're very knowledgeable. They've been around the block, and she on the interview actually she said, "I know I'm known for the arm bars, but I come from Muay Thai, and I've always been in Muay Thai. I mean, that is my bread and butter. But MMA, to speak to the thing about the wrestler being the striker is wrestling, the wrestler is striking, there's grappling from a guy they would never expect." She said, "MMA is a sport of opportunity. I'm an opportunity fighter. I saw an arm, and I'm gonna get that arm." And you could see it then, because it made me think of the kicks. She had kicks that looked like you're actually doing doing a demo for kids and kicking bricks. She was like, and he would tell her low, mid, high. She goes, and she did it right there. And it was like, and she's so young. Plus she had I think she broke her arm. And there was a problem. So this is what happened. She broke her arm, and then it had a calcification problem. Like she actually had to go back into maybe a second surgery or whatever.
Oh no.
And then I think she broke her nose before. I mean, there's different stories of different people. Sometimes I don't want to get confused, but I mean, I understand that she went through some stuff to actually be in the octagon.
Right.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, even Amanda Lemos was fighting now this weekend in Long Island, she had some stuff too. I mean, they all have different. It's interesting to know the storylines, because people think of what goes into being out of commission.
Yeah.
For
exactly. Yeah.
You see all you have to do is just go to your favorite website and look at when was the last time a fighter fought, and you're like, wait, it's been like a year.
Yeah.
One injury and you're gone. This is not like, okay, all right, I don't know, baseball, he's out, he's on the DL, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, or NBA guy, sprained ankle, he's out for 4 games. NFL, he's out week 1 or 2. These people are like, okay, they miss an opportunity to fight, and they miss rankings and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's huge.
That's another fascinating part, right? Like you see these guys going up and down rankings, and to comment on Bisping's story, right? I mean, a guy who Charles, like you're down, and all of a sudden there's a chance, and you get there, and you make the most out of it.